Uniswap is arguably one of the most important decentralized applications or dApps in the crypto space. And the leading protocol is about to undergo some big changes to a new version 4 upgrade. And with this, they continue to push the limits of what's possible in decentralized finance or DeFi. And you're definitely going to want to pay attention to this if you're trying to stay 2 steps ahead of what's happening in this space. And if you're a blockchain developer or you're an aspiring developer, you'll also want to listen up because there's potentially a multi-million-dollar opportunity associated with this. I'll tell you everything you need to know in this video today as a blockchain developer myself who works with this technology on a daily basis. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish, break into the blockchain industry, increase your salary well past 100K, I can show you how to do that over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right, so let's jump into this. Let's talk about this big update for Uniswap version 4 and what you need to watch out for. So in case you're not familiar with Uniswap, I mean, you probably are if you click on this video, I'll explain it, but I'll also explain the background because even if you use Uniswap now, you may not know everything about its history and why it's such an important dApp to begin with. So first of all, I'll justify that position on it being one of the most important, if not the most important dApp in the ecosystem, which is it's the largest decentralized exchange protocol #1, and it's processed over $1.5 trillion in trading volume to date. Now that's much larger than any other application in the blockchain space, including something like OpenSea, all right, which I don't have the up-to-date stats on OpenSea, but it's only in the billions. I say only, that's still pretty impressive. And if you look at, Uniswap's current metrics, just on Ethereum alone, it's got over $3 billion in TVL. Within the last 30 days alone, it's had multiple days where it's settled close to $20 billion in trading volume in the middle of a brutal crypto bear market. And that's over double the top days on something like OpenSea in the last 90 days. So the numbers don't lie. It's insanely in demand. But some more about its background, Uniswap's always been an innovator in this space. It's been a pioneer of what's called the automated market maker technology, or AMM, where you create decentralized exchanges or DEXs that don't really have order books, but they use liquidity pools in the back end where decentralized liquidity providers can give money to the protocol, and then the smart contracts themselves manage the price of the cryptocurrency based on the supply ratios of the cryptocurrencies in those pools. So all people have to do is go to the app, tell it what cryptocurrency they have, what cryptocurrency they want to buy, click swap, and it does everything for them. They don't have to set limit orders or wait for the price to change in order to fulfill their requests. They've also been a massive pioneer with airdrops. Okay, so, we've seen different distribution models for cryptocurrency over time. We've seen new forks of blockchains. We've seen ICOs. We've seen liquidity mining. And now we've seen things like crypto airdrops, where basically people take snapshots of early users and then just give away free cryptocurrency to these early adopters. And Uniswap was a pioneer in this space, basically wrote the playbook that everybody else started using and has refined ever since. And that's a big summary of Uniswap's background and influence. And the big picture I'm trying to paint here is whenever Uniswap changes something and does something big, it's time to listen up. All right, so then let's talk about the new release of Uniswap version 4. So, being Captain Obvious here, this is the 4th version of Uniswap. And we'll talk more about how Uniswap does upgrades later. It doesn't do like upgradable smart contracts. It just puts out a new release, and all the previous versions of Uniswap still exist. I'll talk about why that's important later. So once version 4 comes out, you can still use version 3, you can still version 2, you can still use version 1. But the 4th version is going to essentially have some big upgrades that you're going to want to pay attention to. So what's the main thrust? Well, #1 is that it's going to be cheaper to use. So it's more gas efficient compared to version 3. That's always a great optimization. But another pioneering concept that doesn't really exist in any other previous versions and has not seen widespread adoption to my knowledge in other DeFi applications just yet is a new concept called hooks. Okay. And this is really important to me primarily because it introduces something into Web 3.0 that's very similar to things that you can do in Web 2.0 that are extremely powerful, and in my opinion is going to supercharge what you can do with Uniswap version 4. And we're going to see lots of other people probably take this same idea and adopt it into their applications because it looks like a great idea to me. And like I was saying, Uniswap's a pioneer in this space. They put out a lot of really good innovations. And typically whenever we see those things working, they disseminate these changes and everyone else is downstream of them and starts to adopt them. All right, so let's dig into hooks and why they're such a big deal. So let's first take inventory of what you can do on Uniswap. You can basically create a liquidity pool. You can add or remove liquidity to it, and you can swap tokens. There's more stuff, but let's just stick with those basic 3. All right. In fact, let's drill down on swapping tokens as well. So what hooks do is let you write custom code for liquidity pools that execute whatever code you want to, okay, whenever a certain thing happens on the blockchain. So for example, let's say when you swap a token, let's say you want to have some custom piece of code run right before the swap happens. Well, you can do that with a customized pool, or like right after the swap happens. Well, you could do that all inside the transaction lifecycle before it gets included into a block. Now, before I mentioned, that this is bringing something to Web 3.0 that is kind of like the user experience of Web 2.0 that has a big superpower. And that's, with hooks in Web 2.0. Maybe you've heard of webhooks before, all right? Or maybe you are a developer and you've seen, different type of lifecycle callbacks that you can do working with traditional databases like, MySQL or PostgreSQL. Maybe you've used an object relational mapper or something like that, okay? So, example of webhooks is, maybe you've used, it's like a Shopify store before where like, a user, checks out, and after they check out, you get a notification that you can subscribe to, with a web request, and you can get some information about that, and then you can write a custom application that will process information about that. That's like an example of a webhook. But if you're a developer and you're getting your hands dirty with like code inside your own app, you might have seen things like, lifecycle callbacks, like before save, after validation, before update, before destroy, after destroy. And then you can map those to whatever actions you want to, like send an email, subscribe to a user, text a user, charge a user's credit card, whatever it is. It basically makes these applications more open, more customizable, and open source, and in the spirit of decentralization where anybody can start writing code that plugs into this stuff and makes things more unique. And so what could you do with it? Well, we're really just scratching the surface of this, but I really think we can open this up like crazy based on the use cases I talked about. Whenever we are in Web 2.0 and moved into this API economy and web surface type of economy where anybody can plug into things. Maybe you've seen applications like Zapier, for example, where you can just get zaps anytime something happens inside of an application and plug them into other apps. That's the type of potential we're talking about here. But, Uniswap has had some hints on their blog here where they announced a version 4 update where things like, some experiments like time-weighted average market maker, on-chain limit orders. Now, again, Uniswap's an automated market maker, but hey, maybe you want to do some limit orders all on-chain. Dynamic fees based upon volatility, depositing of out-of-range liquidity into lending protocols, customized on-chain oracles, auto-compounded LP fees, and last but not least, one of my most curious topics, internalized MEV profits are distributed back to liquidity providers. All right, so now let's talk about potentially the multi-million-dollar opportunity for blockchain developers. So if you're a blockchain developer already, or you're an aspiring developer, then definitely listen up to this. So within the last year or so, Uniswap announced their bug bounty program. Okay, so if you're not familiar with bug bounties, what is that? Well, basically, whenever somebody creates an application and they put it out there in the wild, they want other people to look at the code to see if there's vulnerabilities involved. So with an application like Uniswap, for example, a lot of money can be at stake. We're talking about billions, maybe tens of billions of dollars, maybe even hundreds of billions when the bull market comes back and crypto adoption grows. So the last thing that they want to do is see any of this money compromised in a material way to, ruin people's trust in the protocol. And ultimately, they don't want user funds lost at all. So for that reason, they will handsomely reward people who find critical vulnerabilities in the protocol. And when they announce their bug bounty program, their top tier reward is $2,250,000 or denominated in USDC. Now, that's the maximum that you could get based on a highly critical, severe bug. And of course, it would be less for things that are less important, but that's the upper limit. And currently, the scope of this is if you find a problem and the Universal Router contract code, Permit 2 contract code, or the version 3 contract code. Now, they don't have the Uniswap version 4 contracts on this list just yet, okay? And the Uniswap version 4 contracts are really just in draft. They're not published. They're not out there. They're not going through official audits yet. But the code now is open source, and they want people to start looking at it. And so if this is something you're interested in the future, then I can almost guarantee you that that's going to appear in the scope of their bug bounty program. And so if you start looking at the code now, it's going to accomplish multiple purposes for you. You're going to see, what's possible with Uniswap version 4, potentially to create something before other people do. But also, if you see anything that could materialize into a critical bug, then you're going to be way ahead of this listing before you're able to officially claim a bounty for something like that. All right, so earlier I talked about how Uniswap, whenever they release version 4, they still have version 3, version 2, version 1 out, etc., etc. And I want to bring that into my final point here, which is if you're a developer, it's really important to pay attention to what Uniswap does, okay? I don't think anybody in this space is infallible, but I really do use Uniswap as sort of like a really good gold standard for what are the best practices for developers. Now, those things will change over time, but my heuristic that I use for myself and my other students is when in doubt, first ask yourself, what does Uniswap do? Now, that doesn't mean you should necessarily do that, but just use that as your first point of reference. And that goes for everything. Like, how should the front end in your application work? How should your smart contracts work? How should your upgradability work, et cetera, et cetera. And now I want to drill down to upgradability because that's what's really important here. And that's why I like how Uniswap works. So upgradability is a tricky conversation with smart contracts because by design, smart contract code should be immutable, all right? It doesn't change. And that's what helps you trust the code and that nobody behind the scenes is going to rug pull you. However, you have lots of applications out there who take a hybrid approach where they create, a smart contract that can be upgraded, where basically you have an interface contract, but then you have all these internal components that it points to, and you can swap out all those internal components at any time in order to upgrade the code base, and your end users may not know. But Uniswap does something different, whereas they basically work on a major version change, okay? There's no minor version changes. So when Uniswap version 1 came out, they started working on version 2 for a very long time. Whenever it was complete and finished auditing, they pushed it out there. Whenever that happened, version 1 still existed, and now version 2 existed. And whenever that happened, they really left it up for the community to decide. Do you want to keep using version 1 or do you want to work on version 2? Now, they're making a pretty good guess as to what the community would do. And for the most part, the community switched over to version 2. Same thing when version 3 happened, and most likely this will happen again when version 4 happens. So I really like this pattern. It's way more in the ethos of decentralization and not forcing changes onto people. Ultimately, they get to decide if they want to use your new software or not, and you are not just, changing things out from underneath them. You're not turning off version 3 to force them, and you're never making minor version changes along the way that change the rules when they expect them to work a certain way. And so this is my number one recommendation on how to design blockchain applications. And again, you can take a lot of cues from Uniswap if you're a developer. If you're ever trying to figure out, hey, how should I do this thing in Solidity? Well, if Uniswap has done it, then try to look up how they do it, okay? Not necessarily copy everything, but use as your first point of reference. Same thing if you're trying to design a user interface, and you're like, I don't know how my wallet should connect, or I don't know how this UI component should work. How should the page refresh here? What should this button do? Well, if you can find a similar thing inside of Uniswap, ask yourself what they did. They're a great point of reference. They've done a lot of thinking, super smart, probably not going to go wrong if you use them as your first point of reference. All right, so that's an overview of Uniswap version 4. That's going to be coming out very soon. Why this is such a big deal, okay? The big opportunity that could be there for developers if you're watching this video and you want to watch it now. And then also, just some tips on how to design your applications based on what's worked out in the wild and how you can sort of borrow the thinking from some of the most innovative people in the space to apply to your own projects. So I hope you like this video. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you start today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you'd like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I should become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You really don't have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.